Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for being with us. If you want to find out more about those sponsors that support our program that may be beneficial to you and your garden, and find those coupon codes, that all can be found at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Season 9 and Money tab at the top of the page. Well, it's time for your garden questions and our garden answers. You can submit your questions at gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can send us a phone call. You can give us a phone call at toll-free 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. If you can't get through, leave a message and we will call you back.
Okay, what is the smallest container I can grow a cucumber in? So ideally a 3-gallon bucket.
It would be the minimal.
Yeah,
5 would be best, but if you've got a 3-gallon grow bag or a 3-gallon bucket, that would be fine. And in a bucket, either any container, you want to have drainage holes. Not putting the drainage holes in an instance, let's do the example, the 5-gallon bucket at the bottom. Don't do that. Go up about an inch all the way around, 3 to 5 half-inch holes, quarter-inch holes. Allow the excess water to run out. That inch gives you a little water reservoir for the capillation action of the soil to reabsorb the water that's setting down in that bottom there, in the case that you forget to water or it needs a little more moisture prior to you watering. So, and you can mulch in containers as well.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. Marcia listening to us on WOGO 680 AM and FM 103.1 out of the Chippewa Falls area. What do you suggest as an organic spray for apple trees to prevent the brown track that appears in my apples? I don't know what causes this, but I don't want to eat them. Is this too late to spray them? And please let me know what you would advise.
Sure. So when asking questions like this, a picture would be very helpful. My best guess is it's something called apple maggot, or sometimes it's called a apple coddling moth. But either way, they lay these maggots into the apple. So there's some different
as
things.
The fruit's developing. As the fruit is, you got the flower and the fruit's starting to develop, and then it's in the flower, is it not?
It's in the flower. Yeah.
When the flower is developing, that's when that starts happening.
So one thing you can do to prevent a lot of problems is bagging the fruits. So this is something that you would do once the fruit appears. It helps prevent that moth larva from getting into the apple itself. Now you can do pheromone traps. This is something, if you do the pheromone traps, you would want to put those kind of in opposite corner of your apple area, yard, whatever you have, because it'll keep them away from the apples, not draw them to the apples. There are beneficial insects like parasitic wasps and assassin bugs. I don't know if you want to start introducing new predators in your yard, but that is an option. There's garlic spray. This is you take crushed garlic water and some dish soap, and you can spray those around the flowers. And then once the apples start to form around the buds.
So it may be a little late for that.
Yeah, it could be a little bit late for that. There's different horticulture oil mixes, and then there's something called kaolin clay. It's KAOLIN, and you can put this around. It kind of goes around the branches and stuff to help discourage the moths as well. I don't know how effective all of these are, but these are some organic means. And then there is a natural insecticide called spinosad, SPINOSAD, and that is something that can be sprayed as well. And it's not necessarily too late. You could try it, but definitely don't eat the fruit.
Yeah. So good news, bad news, I guess, on that.
Yeah.
How often do I need to fertilize my vegetables? Kind of a broad question there, but at the time of planting, regardless of the soil, we always grow in compost. So 100% compost in a raised beds. So at the time of planting, we always apply a organic fertilizer according to the specs on the bag. And then because of our shortened season, we always go with something that's like a 464 or 686, something under the 10 number on the bag. Each bag in the world has 3 numerals, and it's nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. So that is universal. And because the numbers may be so high, let's say triple 20, that's more of a synthetic, but we don't have by the time that would be effective, we're not the plants and the soil is not utilizing that fertilizer because the season's already short. So we try to keep it under a triple 10. If you see plants telling you they need something, then again, you can utilize Google, you can utilize other apps in order to try to track down, is this a nitrogen deficiency? Is this a this? Is this a that? I mean, the simplistic answer is you don't know until you do a soil test. Until you do a soil test from soilsavvy.com, you can't say, well, that plant looks yellow, so that means it needs X amount of this and X amount of that in order to get it back where it needs to be. There are liquid fertilizers in which you can dilute and water in order to get a more instant or direct feed to the plant in order to offset the problem. But the general rule is having a good starting material to plant in can save a lot of issues. If you have crummy soil and you're not making that soil better every year by adding organic matter or bringing compost in and adding so much compost on top of the existing beds or the existing ground, you're setting yourself up to a certain level of failure because you're supplementing and adding and you're not giving the plant the ability to grow to its capabilities because you're not feeding the soil. By not feeding the soil on a regular basis, like I said, we fertilize when we plant, and then the compost has such a high level of nutrient that we don't need to re-fertilize. Now, in a container, you're going to need to fertilize the top inch or two, rake in a handful or the recommended rate of a fertilizer about every 45 to 60 days because the leaching, as you water, it will permeate out and pull that nutrient out, and the plant will suffer if you don't fertilize in a container.
I don't have anything to add to that. I completely agree.
All right.